What is a compounding pharmacy? So compounding pharmacies are really kind of fun. So when you think of a pharmacy, especially the old school pharmacies, you think of that logo that has that bowl looking thing, and then there's this stick thing that's poking outside of the bowl. And technically, that's called a mortar and pestle. And right nowadays, you see them very commonly in like Mexican restaurants as they make your guacamole, which is actually disgusting because avocado is terrible. But whatever. That's me thing. Yeah, so a mortar and pestle, those are tools that apothecaries and old school pharmacists used to use to blend different chemicals and agents to make medicines and salves and that sort of thing. And so even though it feels like most of our medicines nowadays come ready-made from a drug manufacturer, there's still times where you need to create something out of thin air. You need to mix things that don't typically get mixed. For example, if there's a pill that works really well for itching or decreases inflammation, sometimes you want to crush that and put that into some type of ointment. And so you'll crush it and you'll dissolve it, crush it, and then you'll want to mix it in some other type of liquidy base. And that's what a compounding pharmacy can do. And I'm sure y'all probably remember there was a really big uproar a few years ago where some compounding pharmacies actually got in trouble because they were doing a whole bunch of they were not supposed to be doing, making up concoctions that were actually really dangerous and not sanitary. But most compounding pharmacies now that you see are kind of locally owned, and I'm a big fan of small businesses and locally owned pharmacies. And they do good work. And the key is, as a psychiatrist, if we're going to compound anything, we want to make sure that we get the directions correct. And so that's always the hardest part. So in this particular situation, I needed to do a lot of chemical calculations with numbers and math and all this stuff to make sure that I got the right concentration for the type of medicine that I ordered. And then I sent that to a compounding pharmacy. Because there aren't very many compounding pharmacies, you kind of have to work at finding them. And so between all the math that goes into it and finding them, that can create a delay and kind of be a headache. But the good part is you get the exact thing that your person needs. And we see this a lot for folks who are in rehabilitative care, wound care, and for kids, because some kids just absolutely cannot swallow a tablet. And so we have to find really creative ways of crushing medicines to get them to be able to take it without any issue. And so compounding pharmacies are really good for that. So I give them an A+.